right, we're stuck behind a tree right here. My green is dead ahead, so I cannot go at the green with the width of this trunk, but that's fine. Let's talk about 3 different ways that we can approach this shot in order to turn this unfortunate situation into a decent score. So for context, I'm about 75 yards out. Now say I got here in one shot, so up and down from here would be birdie. We'll say it's a shorter par 4. Birdie's largely out of the question. So whenever you hit a bad shot and you're out of position, the first thing you need to do is understand that we're not going for hero shots unless we absolutely have to. We're in some type of match play. Instead, we're going to play this smart. We're going to play for a fairly simple par, or maybe just get away with bogey. This is a tough position to be in, so we'll just try and do whatever makes sense. So let's talk about the 3 different ways that we can approach this type of shot from behind the tree, no matter what your yardage is, in order of how aggressive we want to be. So the first thing that we can do is a very basic chip out. Again, I'm about 70 yards out, but if you're 170 yards out, you still may need to chip out, and that'll be your best play in order to make a difficult par or an easy bogey. When I'm chipping out, I like to take a pitching wedge and put it back in my stance. It's important not to go with a lob wedge or something that's going to get high, because although this tree doesn't have limbs, a lot of trees will have lower limbs you have to navigate. So you don't need like a 4-iron, but for this shot, I'm just going to have a pitching wedge a little bit back in my stance. I'm going to choose a spot that I want to land the ball, maybe 15, 20 yards ahead. And the number one priority with these chip outs is always to find the ball and get the ball into the short grass. So I'm going to pick a spot here, just a little chip motion, land it about 15 yards up, and it's going to be in the left side of that fairway. Probably have about 45, 50 yards up and down to get a par. So, you know, it's not the ideal scenario, but I'm back in the fairway. Mentally, you feel a little bit better about having it up and down for par. Now let's talk about another way that we can approach this. Now, again, we are 70 yards out. I'm going to take a 60-degree wedge. Now, when I look out at this green, I'm going to have to shape this ball and move it a little bit. However, that is difficult because I'm only 70 yards out. So the good thing about being further out, say you have 150 yards, I'd hit an 8-iron probably. I can shape an 8-iron and really curve it a lot more than I can curve a 70-yard shot. It's super difficult to curve a 70-yard shot unless you're Bubba Watson at Augusta National with that hook that he hit. So I have this 60-degree here. I see a bunker to my left, and I see a tree to my right. So I have a little bit more room on that left side. I'm pretty comfortable fading the ball. So what I'm going to do with this shot is I'm going to open up my face in my stance and try and hit a little bit of a cut at that bunker. Now, if I miss it and I don't cut it, which is probably going to be the miss, not cutting it enough, I'm just going to be in that bunker and I'll have a chance to go up and down. I like my bunker play. This is a fairly easy bunker to an easy pin, so that's what you have to consider. If it's a deep bunker and you're going to be short-sighted, then do not go with this shot. Think about your next shot after, what you're laying up into. So I know that if I pull this off, I might be able to get it on the left side of the green. That would be a great shot. If I don't pull it off, I'm going to be in that bunker, and I think I still have a pretty good shot at par. Step up to it. Again, a little bit of an open stance, open face. I don't want to be anywhere near this tree, because if I hit that tree and I go over here, now we're talking about a blow-up hole. We're talking about working hard for bogey, probably making a double or triple. So I'm going to have a pretty open stance. I'm going to aim just a few yards left of this, and if it cuts over, great. If not, we'll be just fine in the bunker. And that ball actually ended up a little bit short. I had it, you know, this rough, I just got under that a little bit, maybe got a little bit too steep. But from there, I'm going to probably have 15, 20 yards to the pin. It didn't quite get to the bunker, so that's a decent shot. I'm fine with it. It's going to put me in a slightly better position than that pitching wedge layup. I'm a little bit closer to the hole, probably have a little bit better of a chance to get to par. Now let's talk about the most aggressive play. I would only hit this shot if I was playing in a match play event, or I was playing some type of money match with my buddies. I'm going to take out a 5-iron. I'm going to put it back in the stance, and I'm going to try and run this all the way up and around this tree up to the green. Now, this is a difficult shot. I'm going to show it to you only one time just to be realistic. I haven't practiced this or anything. but I would say if I hit this shot 10 times, I get it on the green maybe twice. The issue with this shot is the distance control. I hit a 5-iron about 195 yards. I don't often have to hit it 70 yards to a pin. So that's just inherently a little bit tricky for me. I'm gonna go out to the right and try and use my right wrist to kind of close down that club face, come a little bit in to out, just so that I can get that draw. And by drawing that golf ball, it's gonna help me navigate that tree and hopefully just run the ball up. The good thing with this type of golf shot is it's nothing but grass in front of me. In my mind, I want to leave this ball short, if anything. If I run this ball off the back of the green, I'm going to be in a pretty difficult position and I'm probably in the rough hitting uphill. It's just not ideal for me. So in my mind, the miss is going to be short and straight. There's nothing between me and the hole other than this tree that I'm going to have to go around. So always keep in mind that if you're going to hit a 5-iron or a 4-iron, something low, it's going to come out and it's going to come off the face so much hotter than a wedge, just because these faces are built that way. So ball is going to be right around my inside heel. I'm going to focus a little bit on getting a in to out path and close this club face down. And again, this is my first try. I'm not trying to ham it up for the camera. See what I can pull off. That's actually a really good shot. Go. Get up there. Yeah. All right. That's probably 3 or 4 feet from the red pin. As I said earlier, I will not pull that shot off much. If I hit this shot 9 more times, I don't think I'm getting it any closer than that. That was as good as I can do, but you know, it's the risk and the reward. If I didn't hit that shot well, I could have very well have duffed it, and then you're in a really bad spot. If you hit it over the green, you're in a bad spot. So it's just about managing your risk versus your reward. I'm gonna pan the camera around and zoom in so you can see this shot. Here it is. Pretty tight to that red pin. Wow, love the 5-iron from 70 yards out. That could very well be the best shot that I have hit on this channel, so I'm honored that you watched it. As always, any comments or questions that you have on these types of shots, again, I only showed you 70-yard shots, but there are some different aspects to 150, 200-yard golf shot from behind a tree. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. As always, thank you all very much for watching. Play well and take care.